What's going on, guys? My name is Lextasy and welcome back to another episode about the totaled out Trackhawk and dealing with the, of course, insurance that doesn't want to pay anything out. And what's the better way to do it than in front of our totaled out Malibu? So without further ado, let's get started because I have a lot to share with you guys today. So first things first, it's been about 2 weeks now since the last update, I think, or last time anyone has talked to me. At this point, there is a lawyer involved, so I can't get into too much details about that side of things, but I can so far freely talk about everything that's going on with the Trackhawk and getting an estimate and all that. So the update from the body shop is, and I'm going to post some pictures right now as we speak so you can see what they're doing and / not doing at the body shop right now. And I also have two different repair estimates. One, of course, is from insurance when they went out there to the wreckage yard or a tow yard to look at it, and the other one is from the actual body shop and what the estimate looks like from them. So I've done a lot of highlighting, as you can tell, on the differences that came back from those estimates. So the body shop sent one in actually about over a week ago at this point. We're talking $9,200 difference in estimates. That should never happen, but because it's the same insurance, they're trying to lose the least amount of money, and I totally get that, but that's not going to fly with me. The biggest difference on these that I noticed was, if you remember, it was hit on the front right side, as you can tell in these photos. So whenever it took such a big hit, remember how the right door doesn't open anymore? And whenever you pop the hood, I even mentioned from the very first time I went and looked at the car at the tow yard that the strut tower is literally pushed out. So if like the strut tower sits like underneath here, it's supposed to be, it's actually like pushed in, but with everything that happened to it, it actually pushed itself out from the holding bracket, whatever. So I knew from the beginning that the whole apron needs to be replaced. So to do the apron, of course, you would also have to yank out the motor and the transmission because, well, whenever you're working on, it's such a tight fit under that hood that you have to yank the powertrain out to be able to get there and literally have to cut this new apron off and put a new one on and weld it back on. So you need all that working area. And on top of that, I'm so glad that the body shop noticed this. Special thank you to you guys for this. But there is also, from all the towing that they did, yanking it on the tow truck from the accident scene, dropping it off at the tow yard, taking it from the tow yard, dropping it off at the body shop. So this whole time, the all-wheel drive system is being just dragged around because the car is locked out and you can't put it in neutral or anything. And then when they parked at the body shop yard, they've been towing it around to get it to inside the shop. So what I'm trying to say is that the differential needs to be replaced on that car. I don't care if it only has 12,000 miles. So they even wrote down that the differential has to be replaced in this car. So all in all, we're talking a difference of 44 mechanical hours because they missed a part of having to yank the motor out, having to yank the transmission out, having to do the differential, also doing the apron because, like I said, that's a lot of man hours to have to get into that and rip that apart and put a new one in. And then, of course, you got about $6,000 in parts as well. So from the original estimate of $27,500 that the insurance company, appraiser, estimator, whatever their name is, wrote up, we're actually sitting at $36,311 already for the damages on that car. That's almost $40,000 in damages on this vehicle, and that's pretty much at 50% of the value. So I called the insurance because at this point, I called the body shop. I don't know what's going on. Nobody's updating me, and the body shop said we're waiting for the insurance to approve the new estimate we have for the repairs before we get started because we're talking $9,000 more. So I call insurance, and insurance says, well, we can't approve that until they also tear the whole car apart because, like we told you, we still want to see the frame as well because if the frame is bent, it's totaled out. So I call body shop back, cool guys by the way, but I told them, hey, they're waiting on you guys to tear it apart as well. And they said, well, we can't do that either because we're in the process of talking to the dealership and getting an estimate for them to do the transmission and the motor yanking out and putting a new differential in because, well, as much as we love to do it and we do it on almost all the cars, this is a $100,000 car and we don't want to screw this up. And it absolutely makes sense because if they do perform that job, then I'm pretty sure I lose all my warranties and powertrain warranties, and the car only has 12,000 miles on it. So I totally respect that and I understand, and I'll do the same thing to take the, liability off my hands. Literally, the body shop can't provide a new estimate or do a teardown until insurance approves. Insurance can't approve until they do a teardown so they can look at the frame. So they're kind of like at a standstill at this point. So it's insane that like I have to go through this. And so I called my estimator and I was like, hey man, so they were off by $9,300 or $9,200 in your estimate when you did it. Not sure how you missed the apron and all that, but I mean, at this point, we've got to be getting close to getting totaled out. And I said, what is the value you put on my Trackhawk? And so he looks around and he's like, well, it's right at $84,000. I said, where are you getting this number from? Because I work at a dealership. I just put this VIN number exactly to the trim level, to every package. Everything's clicked in. And it's showing the maximum retail value, not even black book, not even like going to the auction and buying one. Retail value, NADA, KBB, they're showing 71, maybe 72 if it's certified pre-owned. So you're overpricing this vehicle $14,000 just so you don't have to write it off. And so he's like, well, let me check my notes again. And then he looks and says, like, oh, no, you're right. I was wrong. It's actually $76,000. I was like, dude, how are you $8,000 off on your estimate? All of a sudden, the writing was wrong. Because now that drops down how much I have to get to have this thing totaled out. And by the way, what is that percentage? And he tells me it's 75%. So on a $76,000 valued Trackhawk, 75% is right at that $57,000 mark. So we're going over all the numbers. And, you know, at this point with the $36,000 estimate, that's before the dealership responds back, which of course they're going to charge way more to do that job. So if this body shop is charging 65 bucks an hour, I'm pretty sure the dealership charges 100, if not 150 per hour to do a job like this where you're actually yanking the whole motor out of a brand new Trackhawk. So that estimate is going to go up. I'm pretty sure it's going to hit 40,000, if not more. So from 40,000, I need about $17,000 for it to be totaled out. And if you think about it, even if they go through all the trouble and spend months fixing and repairing this thing, I already have a claim for the diminished value, which is going to be at least 15 to 20% on that car. So let's say they did appraise at $76,000. So 20% of that, you're at $15,000. So we're pretty much totaled out. It just sucks that we'll have to fight with my own insurance to get me a new car, to get me totaled out of this car. And I asked the insurance lady, I said, man, I mean, let's be honest. Would you put your family in a car that has $40,000 in damage? I don't care if it's repaired. I don't care who does the repairs. The car will never be the same. And from all that structural flexing that is done, the structural support and the rigidity of it is not going to be the same. And she says, well, it's not about that. It has nothing to do with that. You know, if the repairs are done right, it's going to be a great vehicle and you can still drive it. So I don't know what to do, guys. I'm still fighting it. Lawyer said he's probably going to get involved in it, even though he's mostly going to cover the physical damages or medical damages and all that. But it's just insane that I have to put up with this. It's been about almost a month. On the 18th is going to be a month that we haven't had our car since the accident. And I mean, I literally have to fight the same company that's providing me insurance, the same company I've paid $500 a month for all my vehicles. Never had issues for the last 6 years. And even when I did have an accident, it wasn't my fault. But somehow it's just like, I know they're trying to minimize the amount they're going to lose money-wise, but at some point you just got to give in and say, hey, I mean, clearly we're losing the case. Let's just completely total this thing out and be done with it. So I don't know what's going to happen, guys. I'm going to keep you updated. The Wrangler that we had as a rental is gone. We actually have a Tahoe now. Funny story, they gave us a Durango from, I'm not going to say what rental place. The Durango had a horrible smell in it. I drove it for about 2 hours, got a major headache, so did my wife. As we were driving it back, because I was like, I can't put up with this, I noticed there's weed in the freaking passenger side door cup holder. It's insane. But so now we have a Tahoe that we're driving, which is a lot more comfortable. But it's a long process, and I wish it was over with. But we have narrowed it down to 2 different vehicles. I'm not going to tell you which ones it is. I hope this car gets totaled out. My cash should be off in about a week and a half, so life somewhat goes back to normal. But I'll keep you guys updated. Thank you for all the support. Drop a comment if you have any advice for me or what I need to do. Like I said, I do have a lawyer, so I feel like I should be taken care of well now. I'm not worried about it. Everybody that knows me, they call me a gentle giant because you know, I just don't like arguments. I don't like fighting with people. But whenever you have my family involved, I'll do whatever it takes to make sure we're taken care of. But thank you guys for all the support. I love you so much. Enjoy your cars, enjoy your lives, and I will see you guys in the next update.